Discussions with Carly and Madison. We are episode 9 now. We've been doing this thing. We still doing it.
Yeah.
Gonna still
So
keep doing it. Today we are talking about alcohol. So this is something that is, right up our alley right now. I can resonate so deeply with this, and I think you can too. So let's get on into it. What is your story, your situation with alcohol?
Ooh, juicy. Yeah, man, alcohol, it's such a thing, you know? It's so hard.
Yeah, man.
Yo, bro. Okay, focus. Um, okay, alcohol and me have had a funny relationship. Um, I don't drink that often anymore. I actually went sober for a long time, for periods of time in my life. I remember I had a massive party girl phase, and there's definitely more than alcohol involved in that, but I won't get into too much detail. Definitely not a highlight of my life, but we all kind of go through it, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And I definitely used to use alcohol for more of an escape, I guess. And I think that's where a lot of people they do that because it numbs you out. It doesn't make you feel or think anything. It's great. And I remember at one point I had this moment where I drank a whole bottle of wine at home alone. And I didn't realize why I was doing it. I just said, oh, people do that all the time in movies. It's fine. And I ended up just like, what did I do? I remember calling all of my exes or like calling people I shouldn't have. And I barely remember it. And the next day I woke up and I was like, what happened? That is not healthy. That is a moment for me. It was like a moment of like, this is bottom. This is rock bottom in a sense. I did this for the wrong reasons. I'm hurting. I can't drink anymore. I went a long time without alcohol. And I'm so glad I did because it gave me a perspective on what people kind of even act and look like when they're drunk, and I'm not now. And I watch that, I'm like, oh, is that what I look like? And I think we talked about this before, Madison.
Yeah.
There's still a lot more I would like to say with that, but I really want to know more about what's your relationship like with alcohol now, maybe compared to what it was before.
Yeah.
What's your view?
So, like you just said, we all have our own personal story with alcohol, and I have had, many poor relationships with alcohol throughout the years. More often than not, to be perfectly honest with you. I know, like, when I was younger, I was a party animal. I've talked about this on my page as well, and I had some more than alcohol that was involved with that as well.
We would have had a good time.
Oh, yeah.
Or not, I don't know.
Good bad times would have been had.
Yeah.
But, more recently throughout, first lockdown, what did we all do? A lot of us do. We sat around and drank our faces off because there was nothing to do, and we're like, "The world's ending, fuck it." Like, I don't know, that's what I did, to speak for myself. Um,
Honest about it. I love it.
and, sure, it was fun, whatever, don't regret it. But, I have had poor relationships with alcohol, using it just because I thought I needed it to have fun.
Mm.
Because I thought I needed it to have fun. So just recently, I've actually decided, like, I had this realization where I said, alcohol is not serving me anymore. I'm drinking it, and then I'm so hungover, and then I'm, out for 2 days, and because I'm old now and I can't handle a freaking hangover. And I don't have the time for that. I don't have the time to waste being hungover when I could have had just as much fun, if not more fun, that night without alcohol. And so now I haven't been drinking for about a month, but I took a little had a few drinks for Sean's birthday, and those were just casual, which was fine. So for the most part, I haven't been drinking for about a month, and it has been so beautiful because this is actually the first time in my life that I've been able to be around other people drinking and them offer me a glass of wine, and me, like, because normally people will say, "Do you want a glass of wine?" And then I'll say, "No, thank you." And then 20 minutes will pass and they'll ask me again and I'll say, "Okay, sure." Right? So this has been the first time in my life where I'm actually like, "No, thank you. I actually don't want it at all."
Mhm. Yeah, it can be really hard when you're so used to saying yes, you know? It's just a glass of wine, what can it do, right? And then it leads to a night where you wake up the next day and you're like, why the hell did I do that? I have to be somewhere today. And a big part of it, I think, too, is you, I don't know if people can recognize this language, but alcohol is a very low vibration thing. It numbs you down, it dumbs you down, it makes you act silly. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. And there's obviously so many like positive aspects to it, which is why people do it. Maybe
Yeah.
not positive, but there's a reason why we do it, right? Even if it's not just to distract, or not everyone numbs their pain. Some people just really want to have a good time.
Yeah.
And again, yeah, we're not judging here. You can do whatever the hell you want. You know, it's your choice.
No
Um,
judgment.
no, zero. God, no. We can't judge. We
Too
can't. No.
much shit.
Cannot. But I feel like when it comes to the low vibrational aspect of what it actually means, um, I didn't like myself when I was drinking a lot.
Mm,
I started making poor choices. It kind of trickled into a lot of my life. My moods were kind of all over the place, like all the side effects that alcohol gives. Because I'm sorry, it's poison. End of the day, and you can't argue me with that.
yeah.
It's over time killing your liver. It's killing your insides.
Yeah.
And I, like you said, with the hangover, Madison, the next day, I couldn't work on my business. I'm half-assing everything. I feel stupid. I sleep away. I'm puking. I'm so sensitive. I'm such a little baby about it.
Mm.
And I lose like 2 days and such. And sometimes when I know I'm gonna drink, and again, I still do sometimes, I make sure I'm committing to 3 days of the partying and the fun, the hangover where I don't leave the bed and my boyfriend has to feed me takeaway all day and I'm just bitching and moaning at him to feed me drink like water. And then the third day where I still don't feel like myself and I can't really show up optimally. And
Yeah.
it's very,
So it better be a good frickin' time if you're gonna commit 3 days to it. That's a weekend away, folks.
seriously, and it has to be worth it for me now. It has to be worth it. Even if it is really having a great night with a friend and having a bottle of wine. That still means a lot to me if I'm connecting and it's still a good time and I know I'm gonna drink a lot of water that night
Yeah.
before bed. But yeah, low vibrational. I don't like who I am when I'm really in that state of a bender. If that, even if sometimes people have like that's their whole lives. They drink, they live for the weekend. And I'm like, I don't want to live that lifestyle anymore.
Yeah, that used to be me, and oh, man, I actually used to drink, like, a bottle of wine a night type deal, like,
Yeah,
and
let's be real.
I wouldn't be, like, wasted. That's how much I was drinking all the time, and I had to realize, like, wow, that isn't, for 1, breaking the bank, for 2, not healthy, not good for my insides, you know? And when you build up over time, you don't realize what it's doing inside of you because you're used to it now at this point. So, let me take you back to a few weeks ago, Carly. I told you about this story. Um,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be raw with you guys here. I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna tell you all the goods. So I had not drank for, I don't know, I think maybe like 3 weeks, like maybe longer than that actually. Anyways, it had been a while. And I think it was longer than that. Anyways, hadn't drank and I was like still really not planning on drinking. And then I was like, okay, whatever. I'm gonna have fun. This was actually Sean's birthday weekend. Okay, yeah. Time is just like so irrelevant to me lately where I just don't know where anything is.
Have you
Anyway,
had a drink now? Have you just just kidding. Go on. Go on. Go on.
okay, take me back. Woo. Okay, so yeah, Sean's birthday weekend, it was a Thursday. I decided I would get some wine and I would just drink a little bit with him and his parents, actually. So we were just chilling, we were whatever, having a great time. I ended up drinking a bottle of wine that night. And I wasn't like totally twisted or anything like that. I went to bed early and then I woke up the next day and I didn't have a hangover. Like my head was fine. Okay. I was violently puking and like other stuff in the bathroom all morning. And I was like, this big, huge realization like, dude, this is poison. And that is, like, the perfect way for my body to have shown me, like, it was almost like the universe was sending me a sign, like, "Hey, Madison, like, you don't wanna be drinking, you know that already, you're going through all this stuff, but let me just send you a solid reminder of why you're doing this." Because it actually is poison, and your body is not meant to drink that like that.
Yeah, I have a question. Have you always had like that violent of a hangover before, or is that like something new? Like that kind of, or does it always happen and like this is just more of a wake up call for you this specific time?
So, okay, so for that specific time, I've never had that happen to me before, ever.
Yeah, okay. So you don't get usual hangovers that bad.
Like, usually I'll get a hangover that's bad where I'm, like, sleeping all day and my head hurts and, like, sometimes I'll throw up. But, like, this was
Another level.
another level of, like, sickness.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think it was so bad?
Well, like I said, I believe that was, like, the universe saying, "Madison, this is poison."
Definitely. I think the universe definitely played a hand in that. I also think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but before you decided to have that night out with the bottle of wine, when was the last time you drank before that?
Yeah, a long time.
Right? It's your body becomes very sensitive when you cut
Yeah,
things out, like alcohol,
absolutely.
gluten, processed food, all that garbage that we love so much, right? And that's your body probably went into absolute shock overload. It was like,
Yeah, it was like, "Dude, what the fuck are you doing to me? Why? Why?" Not to mention I've been on, like, a very clean like, vegan, almost, like, lots of raw food diet, like, juicing, like, treating this temple like the temple it is, and all of a sudden it's just like, "Toxic,
yeah,
toxic."
have some wine, it's fine. Um, is it hard to find balance though? Like, do you want to cut out alcohol like forever? Do you like what is your plan? Like, what do you want? Like, ideally, if you could like make a choice and you had the best willpower and you made the decision, like, what would you want?
Okay, I don't think I will ever cut it out forever. You know, I think there's a time and a place,
Yeah,
and I think celebrating with, a couple glasses of wine or some bubbly is like that's healthy to just utilize that in a celebrational way or, if I want to go have some wines with my girlfriends and not drink a whole bottle of wine to myself. I think that is totally fine. But like you said, balance, right? And having that willpower. So I never used to have that willpower. And I think now going through all of this and taking that time to really listen to my body and also my soul and go, okay, does this serve me? And do I need to have another glass of wine? Do I need to finish this bottle? You know what I mean?
yeah. I think it's hard to find. You know, we always say when people say balance as well, and I say it all the time, but sometimes if you actually look at your life and the balance, do you ever find that you keep whatever balance you find, do you have that actually consistent? Like, I think it's always kind of changing. And, you make decisions, right? And your balance can be thrown off. It's always thrown off. And I think you may feel like this as well. But I used to be I was always one extreme or the other, where I was like just knee deep in alcohol and just like partying my face off and having a good time, but also that came with anxiety and depression and insecurities and all this really bad, poor decision making, right? Like that over time, I was also then really, really hard on myself. And then I all of a sudden went no alcohol. And then I went really extreme where I found myself judging other people for drinking and looking down. This is honesty, like I literally looked down upon people who partied and I said that's so low vibrational, and I was on my high horse about it just because I decided to cut it out, and that's not a good way to live your life when you actually find yourself on a pedestal. Like, I was very humbled and stuff, took myself down and everything, because you can't do that, because I had a whole life making those same decisions and everyone has their own choice, right? And
Yeah.
so now like you just said, I love what you just said. It's like, I can't promise myself that I'll never have a drink again. I promise myself that I'll be intentional with my drinking as much and try my best. and use it as a celebration and as a positive thing. And so even when you're in the hangover, you're still like, damn, I had a good night last night. And I'm so
Yeah.
glad, it's so worth it because, you bond with people and it is a social thing, right? End of the day,
Yeah.
right? But if you do it alone and you do it because you're depressed, that's a whole other thing, and
Thing.
that can happen. And that happened to me and you, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's about being intentional, and I think also it can almost be toxic if you tell yourself, like, depending on your situation, right? If you wanna go sober and that's what you wanna do, then
I love when people do
awesome.
that too. I'm like,
Yeah. But if you are just saying, like, "No, I'm not ever gonna drink alcohol again," just because you're trying to, maybe prove that to yourself, I don't know, like, if you're just doing that to do it, like, you're going to set yourself up for failure when you go, "Oh, I would really love that glass of wine, but oh no, but I told myself I'd never drink again." That's a toxic circle in itself. So,
mhm.
I think it's just about being true to yourself and really listening to, like, what you want and what you wanna do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that you just made me think of something. The times where I was going through that phase of just alcohol, like all of it, I just like, hated it. Hated what it did to people. I've seen people do stupid shit and like cheat on their girlfriends and their boyfriends because alcohol. There's a lot of stuff that comes from that, and I've seen it all
Yeah.
firsthand. And then what was I saying? Like when it comes to, oh, I forgot what I was saying. Am I drunk?
Toxic circle.
Yeah. Fuck, I forgot what I was saying. It's okay. Backtrack. Yeah, so when I saw what it did to people, and it was like this constant phase and this constant cycle of people making like really, really bad decisions, um, I hated seeing it. Because I saw myself in that too. Like, I didn't recognize myself. Like, I made decisions that I never usually would.
Mhm.
That's a big part of what alcohol does. And if you don't use it, like I said, intentionally, oh, I remember what I was going to say is when I kept holding myself back from having a good time, right? From going out with friends. I remember my boyfriend Johnny actually having a conversation with me. And he said, you're really isolating yourself away from people. And I'm like, yeah, but because everybody that I know here just likes to drink and I don't like to. And he's like, okay, well, can you maybe find like a middle ground here where maybe you can still come out with us and not have a drink? And I was very much like, I don't even want to be around it.
Yeah,
And that way I isolated myself from so many people because I was judging that so much,
yeah,
where my mental health and my like even friendships were on the line there for a little bit because I was so strict and I was so like, so like I get what you're saying with that when it comes to if you're not going to drink so strictly like that, and bad stuff can come from that too. So it's knowing yourself and knowing why you're not drinking. And but the fact that we even have to think about this and the fact that drinking is so damn normalized, it is what it is, right? That's just how it works.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's just listening to yourself and following what you really truly believe in, you know?
Yeah. Do you, boo?
Do you, boo boo?
Yeah. But we still need to have a glass of wine together before I leave. That's like one thing. And that's going to be a very beautiful moment. And again, that to me is worth it. that right there. You know,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to add about alcohol at all? I think this is a really good, short and sweet topic.
Yeah, I think we covered everything. Honestly, like, at the end of the day, it's always your choice, and, don't let other people just push you into drinking as well. Because I know I see that all the time, like, and that's happened to me, like, especially now that I'm on the, no alcohol train. It's, people are like, "Come on, have a drink. Come on, have a you're not drinking? Have a drink. Come on." And if you truly believe you don't wanna drink at that time, stick to your guns and do it when you feel comfortable and when you choose to, because it's your choice.
Yeah. Again, it's going to be really hard if you're so used to spending time with people drinking and then you don't. I was called like, you're so boring now. And I thank God I didn't give into the peer pressure because I'm so glad I decided to cut out alcohol before when I did, because I started to feel really, really good. And you feel really healthy too. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
My skin got better. People lose that like alcohol access weight around themselves. I see so much goodness that comes out of, because drinking can make you look absolutely disgusting and smell gross, and there's so much nasty to it that just I
Comes out of
hate.
your pores, man. Comes out of your pores.
Yeah, comes out. Yes. But again, it's choosing what you find to be like for me worth that feeling of after. And I also, it takes a lot of effort for me to drink now. It's
Yeah.
like, well, some people find it really hard not to drink. I find it very hard to drink because it has to be something. It's a lot of energy for me. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
it's gonna be 3 days.
Yeah, exactly, and that's really what I'm like, the mindset I'm around now as well, and don't get me wrong, it's not like I just woke up one day and I was like, "Yeah, or just I can handle not drinking," you know? Like, it took me a really long time to get to this place, and it was really a decision, right? Um, Mentally, I had to be in the place where I'm like, "No, I want something more for myself to make this decision," and now if I do wanna drink, just like you said, it's really a commitment because I am thinking about the next day and what I have to do and how I wanna feel.
Yeah, and is it worth it? So,
Mhm.
well, I'm excited for this journey and such, you know, just to see how you go with this too, because I know that, and it takes a couple times to like fall back into the old patterns, to feel like shit, to realize a couple times that okay, no, I really, really am on this path for a reason,
Yeah,
and it has to. That's how you learn, right? And you need to have a couple of those hangovers to be like, oh my god, I really am over this, or I
yeah,
really don't want to do this for a consistent amount of time anymore. It's not worth it.
yeah,
You
and
know?
you've already even, like, seen some of my journey too.
I've seen
Um,
it, before, baby.
you've seen it, you've been here for it, so it's
Yeah. And I'm excited for you because I see you going in this awesome path of figuring so many things out, right? Well, that's what we're all trying to do. But I see you going on this path of just like it's really awesome, Madison. Just seeing you grow like this. Like you're doing great. Okay. Just keep doing what you're doing, and you're inspiring a lot of people along the way. So that's why we're talking about this kind of all these different topics, right?
well, thanks for inspiring me daily, my beautiful, amazing mentor and bestie.
Love it. All right, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. Episode 9.
We will see you on the next one.